Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. So Anthony Joshua has lost his heavyweight titles to Oleksandr Usyk last night at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. It's not the first time that he's lost them, of course, the previous time being to Andy Ruiz Jr. in June 2019. But I feel as though this defeat at the hands of Oleksandr Usyk is very different to the defeat that he had before against Andy Ruiz. I feel he got truly exposed in this one, and that his boxing IQ is just not up there as what we thought it was. I think a lot of that is down to the fact that Oleksandr Usyk is that kind of boxer because of his amateur background and the fact that he is undisputed cruiserweight champion. That's something that he'll never lose because, of course, he won all of the belts and then he vacated them to then go into heavyweight. So I think Joshua really got exposed in this fight. I really do, because a lot of people look at Anthony Joshua and think he's too big, he's powerful. You know, he's a big guy, he's 6'6", he's 240 pounds. In terms of his boxing technique and ability, he's just still not quite there, and he has improved significantly since, especially after the first Ruiz defeat a few years ago. His head movement is significantly better. I mean, he took a lot of shots from Usyk, but I think what I found with Joshua last night was I don't think he was very good in terms of his body movement, because yes, his head movement was good, but his body wasn't, because he wasn't like moving around. He was pretty much just like straightforward, and he just gave Usyk an easier route to getting him and getting that jab in and knocking the hooks in and all of that. So I think he just wasn't wise enough against him, really. In this one, he got absolutely and completely outclassed by Oleksandr Usyk. He really did. Watching the fight with a few friends last night, I kind of thought I would only give Joshua 3 rounds out of the 12. Oleksandr Usyk won the other 9 and Joshua only won 3. That is, in my opinion, I think it kind of really exposed him to what level he is. I know he talks, like he did in the press conference last night, about experience and losses, and and I would expect that from someone like Anthony Joshua, that he handles setbacks with dignity, especially after he did against Andy Ruiz. At the end of the day, he got outboxed and the better man would. How else are you supposed to respond? Are you going to respond where throwing your toys out the pram, getting angry about it? You're just going to go, you know what, respect, because you were better than me last night and you deserve to win. But now it's about how he comes back. Whether he'll go into a rematch straight away, I don't know. To be perfectly honest, I hope he doesn't, really, because I don't think he deserves it. I think when you've lost a fight so convincing, you've really got to kind of climb back up the ladder again, even if that means fighting a few people. Like if Joshua fought, I don't know, Dillian White in a rematch, or if he fought Luis Ortiz, or if he fought Andy Ruiz again, or if he fought Jose Parker again, or even Deontay Wilder if he potentially loses to Tyson Fury. But I just think he needs to have a long, hard think, really, about what he's doing. So I think he probably will take the rematch with Usyk, and I'm sure Usyk will happily accept it, because there is a lot of mutual respect between them, as we saw at the press conference and we saw just before the fight and after the fight as well, when he went to the dressing room and everything. So from Usyk's perspective, because of that respect, I think he's earned a lot of fans, because he was not just respectful, but because he's such a good boxer. There's no excuses. He didn't cheat. He just did better than him, and that's how it is. You're bound to say, you know what, fair play to you, you deserve to win. He got the victory, rightly so, and now he's the new unified heavyweight champion of the world. I mean, what an achievement for Usyk as well, because like I said earlier about his amateur background, but the fact that he was undisputed cruiserweight champion and now he's unified heavyweight champion, and he's only fought 19 professional fights. It's ridiculous, it's mental how much he's achieved in, yes, many years of experience, but on paper, when he's only had 19 professional fights, it looks absolutely terrific. It really does. But the only thing I would say about Usyk winning last night is that a lot of people before this fight were craving for Anthony Joshua against Tyson Fury. But of course, we know that that fight fell through and it's not happening. And I think because Usyk has beaten Joshua, that set it back even more. Because at the end of the day, out of every single fight, the one that we want to see is AJ against Fury. But that's not going to happen, not at least for the next year or two, I don't think now, because obviously Joshua's going to most likely go in for the rematch against Usyk. Fury's got to get past Deontay Wilder first in a few weeks. Hopefully he will. But I mean, regardless, I'd like to see the fight, even if it's without the belts. But in terms of what will happen next in the heavyweight division, who will fight who, it just kind of this is one aspect of boxing that really frustrates me, because these guys are, yes, they're recovering from fights, but it's almost like they can't just pick and choose who they fight against. They have to kind of think strategically. That is one aspect of Anthony Joshua's career that kind of has frustrated me. That, yes, he's gone through some tough opponents, but I feel as though with Anthony Joshua, he is like a product of boxing, because he effectively has revived it. So I can understand why people criticise him in that respect, but his character will help him come back and he will improve. And I'm sure he will improve, but I just think because he got so outclassed by Oleksandr Usyk last night in the fight, I think he needs to earn his rematch, not just because he's contractually obliged or because he lost and, you know, and he's the poster boy of boxing. He needs to earn it by climbing back up the ladder, because I think there are other fighters who deserve another chance. I mean, Dillian Whyte, who was actually there last night, I think he deserves a heavyweight title shot. He will have that privilege and he will get back to the rematch straight away. When it will happen, I think it will probably be in March. I think Eddie Hearn said last night in an interview that it will be likely in March, so that's something to look forward to, but also dread, because what Anthony Joshua will do if he loses, I don't know really. I think he'll. I don't think he'll necessarily end his career. I think he'll just, you know, look to other options really and just keep going and try and climb back up again. Because, you know, that's what you do as a boxer. You know, you have setbacks and then you climb back up again. It's just a question of how much Joshua's got left in him, because he had to really dig deep to fight back and win his belts back against Andy Ruiz. But how much he can against Oleksandr Usyk after such a convincing defeat, I really don't know. I don't know what's going to happen now with him in terms of what his approach is going to be, how he's going to handle it and what Usyk's going to do. I don't think he deserves another rematch, to be honest. I think he should just fight someone else, and Usyk should have mandatory challenges himself now. But it was a good fight, by the way. The fight itself was just fantastic, and Usyk really went for it straight away. He really landed in a few good jabs and a few hooks within like the first 30 seconds of the first round. So we all knew that it was going to be a tough fight for Anthony Joshua anyway, but I think because Usyk has beaten him in London, pretty much in his backyard, he has earned a lot of respect. And he has earned a lot of fans, and he's definitely cemented his place among the best in the heavyweight division right now, especially when it's only his third fight in it. It's a bit like Evander Holyfield when he came in from cruiserweight, and a lot of people were probably thinking, you know, has he really got what it takes to fight the big boys, you know, like Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis? And he has fought them, so I just think with Usyk, he could be in that similar position himself, but that's just what I think anyway. What do you think? What did you think of the fight last night? Do you think Joshua should go straight into the rematch with Oleksandr Usyk? But what about Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder? What's going to happen there? Who's going to fight who? You know, it's an absolute mess, isn't it? So I think it will be really interesting to see what happens. So let me know in the comments below anyway what you think, and if you did want to enjoy this video, then please hit the like button and subscribe for more, and have a notification bell tick so you're notified when I upload a new video, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody.